this video, we're going to go over the patient mode for the SOAP Note Screen in CareHD. We have three SOAP Note Screen options. We have provider mode, patient mode, and patient chart, but today we're going to go over the patient mode. To get to the patient mode, you're going to click on this SOAP tab. In order for a user to have access to this tab, their user has to be listed as a provider. So anybody that's listed as administrator will not be able to have access to this tab. So if you want them to have access to that tab, you just have to change your user to be specified as a provider. To get to the patient mode, you're going to click on SOAP, patient mode. So the purpose of this SOAP Note screen versus the provider mode or patient chart is to have a patient put in their date of birth, and it will bring up their file on the device in the adjusting area so that the doctor can just walk in and go ahead and treat them versus the doctor finding their name in the adjustment queue and clicking on them. So a lot of offices prefer, once the patient has arrived, they go to their adjusting area, they teach the patient to just go ahead and type in their date of birth and then take a seat and wait for the doctor. So that's an option if you prefer that method. And so all the patient would do is they would put in their month and day. Now, in order for this to work, the patient does have to be arrived first for their appointment. Once that appointment is arrived, then the patient mode will recognize that there's a person with a matching birth date and pull up their profile in the SOAP Note screen for the doctor. If you have two patients that have the same date of birth, it's going to default to the patient that has an appointment today and that was arrived. So there's less likely chance that the wrong patient could be pulled up because it will filter and search for the patient that has an appointment on the current date and it's been arrived. So the patient is going to just type in their date of birth, and then it will automatically go to the screensaver. And that's by design, just for HIPAA compliance reasons. You just have to click into it to remove the screensaver. And then now at this point, the patient is going to go take a seat and the provider can come in, treat the patient, and do their SOAP Note. So, provider mode. Now here is my SOAP Note screen. At the top, I can see the patient's name, their date of birth, and age. Snapshot will open up the patient snapshot to the right. Call patient will allow the doctor to call the patient to the specific adjusting area when he or she is ready. Treatment date, this will always default to today's date, adjustment queue. Cases, here you can see how many visits they've had on the current case and how many total visits. You can also toggle between different case options. Charges is where you can manage the charges for the patient, the charges and services that you put in. You can add more onto this screen. You can also edit the units, modifiers, the DX mapping. You can change. So if I want to change the DX mapping for this, I'm going to click on the plus sign and click on the order of the DX codes that I want to remap. I can see the charge, copay, deductible, coinsurance. I'm going to click apply changes, but I'm not going to set that as default because I was just showing you what that would do. Here you can change the status of arrived to any other status, but you really won't have to use this that much as it will automatically transition into other appointment statuses as you treat this patient. You can see the last exam, their next appointment. Here you can see their care plan status and their care plan tracking. I can also click into that box to easily get into this patient's care plan. This specific patient is set up as pregnant in her profile. So here I can see her pregnancy tracker. I can see that she's 12 weeks pregnant, and this will update every week to track her pregnancy. This bar is pink because I have her set up that she is pregnant with a girl. If she's pregnant with a boy, then this bar would be blue. Visit history will take me to my visits tab where I can see past SOAP notes. Case info will take me to the cases tab where I can do any updates. Quick add is a place where you can quickly add presets or services that you want to quickly add to the patient's ledger. Here you can see the patient's notes box, cheat complaints, and care notes. These are all found within the patient profile itself. So this is in the patient snapshot and their profile, and these are under the case settings. So whatever you put in here in their profile will also show up on these notes boxes on the SOAP note screen. Here you can see last SOAP note, and it will say by the user that was logged in and the date. I can easily click reuse last note. And here's my SOAP note. Here are my SOAP note macros I use to create my note. So all I have to do is quickly click on a macro, answer the questions, and then there is my note. If something changed in a SOAP note, so maybe their pain scale was different, maybe it's higher to date, these blue boxes are called advanced macros, and they're clickable and editable. So if I click into that, I can change the pain scale, and maybe I want to say that it feels worse because her pain scale went up. So creating a SOAP note in CareHD is super simple because, again, these macros help you so much by quickly creating and submitting your SOAP note. So I'm going to click on another one, and then there's my SOAP note. I know this is not an accurate SOAP note, but I'm just showing you. And then at the end, I can also hit electronic signature and have it sign my name and the date and time of this note. Down here at the bottom, you can see x-rays. Any picture that is uploaded in a patient's profile that is labeled as x-ray will show up here. You can click into the x-rays and show patients maybe what you're seeing or what you want to discuss in the re-exam. You can zoom in if you want to. You can also compare two x-rays. If I click this plus, I can compare two x-rays side by side. These are just drawing tools, so when you're talking with the patient, this will not actually draw or create annotations on your x-ray. It's just for talking purposes, so you can be like, look at that area, but it won't save on the x-ray. Here are all the other document options in the patient profile. So here you can quickly click around and get to the appropriate document that you want to go over. Here you will see a list of the default charges that are set for this patient. Now again, they'll be up here, but they'll also be here in the charges box. Here are the diagnosis. Now if the patient doesn't have any diagnosis set up, this will be blank, and you can just click into this area to quickly add your diagnosis codes. So many areas of the SOAP note screen is clickable, and they're quick links and take you where you need to go. So just keep that in mind. Update my diagnosis codes. Collapse these for now. So I'm going to click reuse last note. Now up here you have the options of close, save as draft, submit and assign, or submit. Close will obviously close the SOAP note without saving. Save as draft, it will save it into your draft queue over here so that you can complete it at a later time. Submit and assign is used when you have a patient that has to go into multiple rooms where maybe multiple tests are done or people are adding into the note multiple times. And so what you can do is start the SOAP note, hit submit and assign, and then assign the patient to the next room that they're supposed to go. Then this patient will be available to pull up on that SOAP note screen in that adjustment area so the other provider can finish the other half of the note. And then you have your normal submit button, and this will submit the SOAP note and the charges, and you'll see that